right. What's up, guys? James from Kings. We're going to talk about some forks. We'll probably be interrupted because we're open. So, BMX Forks. When you're buying BMX Forks, you always want to make sure you're getting good stuff, so don't buy the cheap stuff. But I have a few different forks back here. I'm going to tell you what you want to look for. This is the Colt Sect IC fork. This one has a 28 mil offset. The offset is a simple measurement, which you see on a lot of forks these days. It's the measurement from the center of the fork leg to the center of the axle, that distance, that gap. Basically, if it's increased, back in the day, the offsets were way greater. They were around maybe like mid-30s offsets. Basically, it pushes your wheel further out in front of you. It creates stability. Anytime you push your wheels further apart, it makes your bike more stable, especially at speed. Slowly for, I guess freestyle, BMX, street, whatever you want to call it, the wheels got a little closer in, making it easier to do nose style tricks. I run these exact forks on my bike. They're 28 offset. They have invest cast dropouts, which means this dropout is casted under pressure into this shape, and then it's sleeved and welded right above the dropout. It's kind of hard to see, but if you catch the right light, you can kind of see where it's welded. And then after the fork's welded together, it's heat treated. It has a one-piece machine steer tube. It's really easy to tell. It's one piece. There's no weld right here. Cheap forks, the steer tube is welded into this piece. You can see a weld right here. This has an integrated fork race. What that means is the bearing that goes in your frame runs directly against this fork right here. Back in the day, forks had a race that came with a headset that you would slide down the steer tube and press onto this area of the fork. New forks, it's integrated in because everyone's pretty much using the same headset. So the fork goes directly in, eliminated a part, which is good. Less parts are more efficient and better. This fork also features a cool top cap. It says maintain every day. It has two options, a 3/8 drive from like a ratchet, or you can use a 6 mil Allen key if you strip one out. You got another option. And then it's threaded into the steer tube itself, so you can preload the bearings, because obviously this doesn't hold the fork on. This just loads the bearings. Your stem clamps to the fork, and that's what holds the fork on. You can see the threads in there. I really like these forks. I sell a lot of them. I don't have a lot of problems with them. Fix that later. This is the other option from Colt. It's the same exact fork. It just has a 10 mil less offset. So this is 18. So they call them the Sect 18s. One feature on this fork and the 28 offset is it's really wide right here. It has plenty of clearance for a wide tire. A lot of tires these days are super wide, and you're gonna need that clearance to make those tires work. It's Christmas time. Best Christmas movie? You can write some shit in the comments on how you disagree, but you'll still be wrong. Another option is this Eclaw Coda fork. This one is a 26 mil offset. It says so. It's stamped on the steer tube if you're ever confused. This features the invest cast dropouts as well. The legs don't taper quite as much as they go down, so you get a little more surface. It's got some other cool little, machine work in it and things like that. It has a cool preload cap too. It just uses a 6 though on their preload cap, so you definitely don't want to mess that up. I think Eclaw claims this is like the strongest fork, but Odyssey claims theirs is the strongest fork. I mean, realistically, none of us are breaking any of these forks. Most thing that takes out a fork is just time. They just get old and eventually stuff breaks. So if you have an old fork, get a new one. Stop messing around with it. Here's the Odyssey fork. The Odyssey fork does not have investment cast dropouts. They weld those puppies on still. It is actually a little lighter than Invest Cast. Invest Cast, they'll tell you that sometimes air bubbles can get caught in the cast, making it weaker. I haven't had that happen to any of the forks I've sold or any cast thing, but maybe it does happen sometimes. I don't know, it's never happened to me. But these are still super strong. All these forks are lifetime guaranteed. Odyssey promotes it with the marketing 41 Thermal. All their 41 Thermal products are lifetime guaranteed, which is a heat treatment process that these forks have after they're welded and put together. They heat treat them, which makes the metal hardened. All the forks I've showed you are heat treated as well. Odyssey's process may be slightly different. I don't really know the exact process, but that's what that is. Their forks taper as well, one-piece machine steer tube. Their top cap's kind of cool. It comes with an 8 mil and a 6 mil option. So if you strip one out, you got the other one. Integrated headset race as well, just like the other forks. The one thing with the Odyssey fork is it is a little narrower right here. So you cannot fit some of the super fat tires on this fork, which is a bummer, but I'm pretty sure Odyssey has not widened them because it produces strength. And Odyssey claims these are the strongest forks on the market. They are super strong, but all the other forks are too. Odyssey does some testing to show how strong their forks are. If you want to check it out, they call it the stamping machine, STAMPY. I'm sure you can find something on it. They are pretty lightweight as well. They're also the most expensive fork of these ones I'm showing you. This one is the R25, so it has a 25 mil offset, but they also make an R15 if you want a little steeper and do more nose tricks. And they also offer an R32, which is a more classic offset. I forgot to grab that one off the wall, but it looks just like those. This is Demolitions. This is a Chris Fox fork. I believe this is 28 as well. The only reason I wanted to show you this is look how cool that cast of those cross axes is. Other than that, it sucks. I'm just kidding. It is also a nice fork as well with a lifetime guarantee, just a different look. Something you can check out. They have this massive dip recess in the top cap. I don't know if you can see that. I don't know what that's for, but you could probably get some shit stuck in there. Other than that, I hope that explains forks. Like I said, you should put new forks on your bike, especially if you're riding very often, probably every year or two. But if you got any questions, leave them in the comments. I appreciate you guys. And till next time, Merry Christmas.